Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening live tutorial stream. We are kicking off our streaming week and hopefully our technical difficulties have been resolved. Oh Lord, if anybody was here for the Saturday sales stream, it was a magical experience of awfulness. It was so bad. There were so many technical difficulties. Speaking of, anybody who's watching right now, could you chime in and tell me if I have audio? Can you hear me? Because, hey, focus, camera, focus on me. Or don't focus on me, camera, really? Okay, well, as far as like in the realm of technical difficulties, the camera, there we go, refusing to focus on me is like so much better than everything that happened on Saturday. Yay! Hi, Lori! Yay, we have audio, we have all of our video currently, knock on wood, working, and we have, and so I've got, everything is completely like, yay, hi Jenny, everything's completely like jury-rigged at this point, and apparently lots of things are only happy at the moment if they're plugged into a USB hub, which, whatever, but I'm like, part of me really wants to do like cord management, and part of me is absolutely petrified to touch anything after Saturday. It's like, it's working, I don't care how messy it looks, I'm gonna leave it. Turn on my light, hope that doesn't like destroy anything, but yeah, so welcome to the live tutorial stream. Right, exactly, no, do not touch, no touch the technology, exactly. Hi Aso, nice to see you back in the chat. So, right, it's like no touch the fishy, no touch the technology, just don't. No touch the technology. So, welcome to the beginning of the Beating Dreams streaming week. We are going to be doing a Back to Basics project today. This is going to be our Back to Basics wire wrapped necklace. So, anybody who's been hanging out on the Beating Dreams stream for any period of time knows how much I love basic wire wrapping and how important I think it is as far as just a general tool in your beading toolbox. You can do so very much with it, including make awesome necklaces like we're going to make this evening. Also, hey, look, shiny thread. That's for Saturday's tutorial. Yay! So if you like shiny things, I mean, if you like shiny things, tune in all the time on the Beating Dream stream, especially for the live merchandise sale tonight, because we're doing tiny shinies. Because we are having our big blowout 50% off sale next weekend. All right, it's gonna be 50% off all of our bead merchandise. So we're gonna be doing sale streams next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. These are trunk show strands, so these are not gonna be part of the sale. So I'm trying not to, like, you know, have regular merchandise on and then, you know, put it on sale the next week. So one of each strand. The end. Where is Tallyfet? Yeah, I should. Oh my God, I posted jack crap on social media today. Like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing about the sale, nothing about the tutorial. Wow. But hey, all my cameras are working, so I'm still going to call that a win. I'm going to drink some caffeine, and we're going to move on from that. Okay, so back to basics, wire wrapped necklace. Do I have a fever? No. And the only prescription is more cowbell? No. I do not have a fever. I just have way too many things going on, and I forgot that social media was a thing for a minute there. Because, you know, I am just old enough that maybe, no, that's not an excuse. Whatever. Hey, again, 3 working cameras. The Heather cam works too. Yay! So, let's talk tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. Alright, you're going to need, if you want to make a necklace like the one in the photo, you are going to need some chain. And the only requirement here is your chain has to have a length that is big enough to accommodate your head pins. So head pin, as most of you already know, is a finding that you will slide your bead onto. The head is the flat part at the bottom of the pin. Also, I didn't actually focus my head cam, but it's actually focused. Thank you, Heather. You're the best. There's a reason I pay her the not really big bucks, because no one in the bead business gets paid big bucks, but
Sometimes I get paid in beads.
But hey, there's a reason that I won't let anybody else have my heather, and that's one of them. So, head pin. So the flat part at the bottom of the pin is what is called the head, and the head is what keeps the beads from falling off. So whatever chain you're using just needs to have a big enough link to accommodate your head pin. Okay, you need to be able to slide it through like so. I am utterly and completely cheating on tonight's stream. This is a pre-made chain. This is one of my favorite cheats, one of my absolute favorite cheats in the beading world, is using pre-made chains for things like this, because you can purchase these from most of your bead and findings vendors. And so what I have is a very fine link chain, and then I've got a nice little spring ring clasp that's soldered onto the chain, so it's nice and secure. If you're going to attach a clasp yourself to a chain that's this tiny, you would have to wire wrap it on, which is a little bit of extra work. So you can save yourself the extra work, purchase pre-made chains, and again, one of my favorite cheats, also probably because assembling chains is literally one of my least favorite things to do. I hate assembling chains. Like, I mean, I'm good at it, I'm fast at it, but it's so incredibly not fun for me. So this gets me out of assembling chains. And then of course you're gonna need beads. I have a couple strands. I've got a strand of Shadowkite and a strand of Apatite that my camera doesn't want to focus on. Whatever. They're pretty. They're turquoisey colored. Here. So I'm gonna use these guys for my necklace this evening. And then as far as tools go, you're gonna need your basic wire wrapping tools. That's gonna be your round nose pliers, your chain nose pliers, and of course your wire cutters. So I'm gonna do two kind of methods of teaching with this back to basics. So I'm gonna do a couple of links beginning to end, and then I'm gonna show you all how I work, which is more assembly line fashion. But either way, the first thing I need to do is I need to dig up somewhere in my work area a scrap of, good lord, that's not a scrap, that's a giant piece. A scrap of something, because I need to find the middle of my chain. Okay, so whenever I'm making a necklace like this, I always start at the middle and then work outwards from either side. That way you don't get done with your project and you're like, oh look, it's shifted off an inch from center.
Did you find a scrap?
I did.
Okay, good.
So I'm going to grab my scrap of cord that I found, and I'm going to find the middle of my chain. So the easiest way to find the middle of a piece of chain is going to be to unclasp it and then find something pokey. Tweezers are pokey. And so take your pokey thing and just put it through the end bits of the chain like so. And then you can literally pull the chain through your fingers and get to what is the center of your chain. Then I'm going to take my scrap of stringing cable, and okay, sometimes you get this where the center of my chain is actually two links, it's not one. You're gonna have to pick one, and you know, apologies to whichever link is not the favorite child, but trust me, no one's gonna notice that your piece is one link off of center.
I know. We all know now, actually.
Well, all 8 of you know, just don't tell anybody else. I mean, is it that difficult?
Really?
Come on.
Don't tell anyone that it's not, that it has a problem, and they'll never know.
Exactly. So I've got my scrap of literally but they are identical. They're all identical children, so it's very arbitrary which one is the favorite child in this instance.
Well, pick the one your wire pokes through first.
Exactly. So what I've done is I've just taken my little piece of stringy cable, I put it through that center link just to mark that for myself. If you want to, you can tie it in a knot. I'm just going to attempt to carefully set it down and hopefully not yank it out of that link. Stay tuned for whether or not I actually succeed in this endeavor. Now, I'm going to grab myself a head pin, and I'm going to grab myself a bead, and I'm going to start with an apatite bead because I'm hungry.
That's an excellent
and
choice.
that is a logical food, I believe, is here. According to Uber Eats, food is here. I can't eat it until I'm done with the stream, but at least it will be present in these 4 walls, which is, of course, the first step. So, I'm going to take my head pin, I'm going to take my bead, and I'm going to drop my bead onto my head pin like so. So, when you're dealing with head pins, there's a couple of things to think about. Head pins come in different gauges. This is a 24 gauge head pin, which is a good kind of all-purpose gauge. Doesn't fit everything, but it fits a whole lot of things. So if you're gonna pick one gauge of head pin, and typically your gauges of head pins are going to be 20, 22, 24, and 26. Now, wire gauges run counterintuitively. That means as those numbers get bigger, the pins actually get thinner, smaller. Oh, hey, you can't actually even see the whole supply list. Sorry, y'all. I mean, not that you can necessarily see it. Anyway, I do have some thicker, I have a lovely viewer who bought me some thicker dry erase markers so that the supply list will be easier to read on stream. But anyway, so yeah, 20, 22, 24, 26. So 24 is a good kind of medium thin gauge. So obviously your pin needs to go through your bead. That's you know, issue number 1. Issue number 2 is you need to make sure the head of the pin is big enough that your bead doesn't fall off of it. And believe it or not, that can sometimes be problematic. The easiest solution to that, if that is the case, is to take like a seed bead or a small round metal bead and pop it on your pin before your gemstone bead, and that will of course solve the problem for you. Now I'm going to make my basic wire wrap loop. So that means I'm going to start with my round nose pliers, okay? There's my round nose. Round nose have the conical jaws or noses. Notice that your round nose are tapered, so the closer you start to the end of your pliers, the smaller your loop's going to be. The closer you start to the base of your pliers, the bigger your loop is going to be. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to place them so that they are touching the top of my bead. I'm going to go for a fairly small loop. Okay, I don't need a very big loop in this particular instance, so I mean, you can't control who was calling. Was it anybody important?
Nope, that's why I didn't answer.
Ah.
It might have been important, but it wasn't important to me.
There you go. Okay, so my round nose pliers are touching the top of my bead. Now, I'm going to use my non-plier hand. That's my left hand because I'm a right-handed individual. My left hand is going to take my wire and bend it. It just proves we are real. We are actually real. We're a real store. We exist. We have premises. You can Google us and everything. Oops. I mean, for goodness sakes, we're in the dang phone book.
Yeah.
And that's a thing.
Yeah, the actual phone book.
The actual phone book. Like, who is in the phone book anymore? And the answer is we are. Because I definitely have there's still a significant pie slice of our clientele who, you know, they'll be looking for something obscure and weird, and we don't have it, and we'll suggest they try the internet. Oh, sweetie, I don't use the internet. Okay.
How do
awesome.
You do things?
I don't know. Hey, Arun, welcome to the stream. Joining us from the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. But right, yeah, the phone book, like, and I don't even take the phone book. Like, when they drop the phone books off in front of Beating Dreams, I literally throw them away or recycle them. Hi, V! So, yeah, I don't even read the phone book, but we're in the phone book. Not only are we in the phone book, we pay for a bold listing in the phone book for that, you know, 15% of our clientele who's like, honey, I don't use the internet. I don't know what that is. I don't do that newfangled stuff. Okay, lady. Anyway, continuing on. So I've bent my wire away from me. Hi, Debbie! Debbie is the owner of Bead Everything in White Plains, New York. She's currently hosting a Bollywood bead company, or I think packing up a Bollywood bead company trunk show. Anybody who wants to just generally support local bead shops across the country, go ahead and give Bead Everything a like or a follow on Facebook. They are an awesome bead shop. They actually have a beautiful facility, solidly twice the size of ours, and their owner, Debbie, is fantabulously wonderful person. So, back to beading. There is a significant crossover between It's True, between old people who don't do internet and old people who like beading. I mean, I think it's just like the old people. I think it's more a people who have enough money that they don't have to care about things like the internet, and then people who have enough money that they can do frivolous hobbies like beading. I think that might be the that might be the Venn diagram right there. But anyway, we're wire wrapping. So I took my wire, I bent it over my pliers. Those are my round nose pliers. I made a 90-degree angle. Okay, like so. Also, Debbie sent me the most adorable cat meme the other day, which I shall share in a minute, but I should actually like get through, at least part of the instruction of this project. Also, food is here and it smells really good. Anyway, now I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to loosen them up. And then I'm going to rotate my pliers independently of my wire. So notice I've loosened my pliers so that I can rotate them back and forth, but I'm not actually bending or manipulating my wire at all. Now what just happened to me, you want to try to avoid. You don't want to let your pliers slip out like that. So you want to just, and I find the best way to avoid that is to just gently press my pliers against this little bend. So I'm applying a little bit of pressure, and I'm just going to rotate my pliers and I'm going to grab right on that corner that I just made. Now I'm going to take my piece of wire, which, were I sitting in a normal position rather than trying to show this to you on a webcam, my hand would be in, okay, my elbow wouldn't be up like that, but it's got to be up or down because of my stupid camera. So anyway, my hand would be in front of me, and my pliers would be vertically in front of me at this point. Now I'm going to take that wire that would be behind. Hey. This is the asylum.
It's true.
The asylum has been taken over by the residents.
Yes.
Alright, so now we're going to take this piece of wire that's behind our pliers, we're going to pull it back up over the top of our pliers and down. So what you want here is you want to see that you're starting to make a loop around your pliers. Now, we're going to go ahead and again loosen my pliers, rotate them independently of my wire, and grab again. The goal there was to make this little corner here available to do this. I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to cross underneath my pliers, and I'm going to make a 90-degree angle between these two wires. And this is, for anybody who is familiar with the Beading Dream Stream, this is my lady with a scarf. So the lady with a scarf is just the terminology that we use to refer to this particular point in the wire wrapping process where we have a completed loop and a tail of wire, and it looks like if it were a lady in a convertible with a long dramatic scarf trailing out behind her as she motors across the screen. So now I'm going to take this lady with a scarf and I'm going to go back to my chain, which I've marked the center. Okay, so there's my chain with the center marked. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to stick it through that center link. At this point I can pull out my little scrap of cable because it has done its job, and I'm just going to take my chain and I'm going to feed it all the way up that wire and into my loop. So the goal here is you want your chain to be completely encompassed in the loop. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. Those are the flat ones. They're the grabbing, holding, and squashing pliers. I'm going to hold with my chain nose pliers across my loop. So I am squishing my poor lady's head, and then I'm going to take my head pin and I'm just going to wrap around, starting at the base of my loop and continuing until I reach my bead. Once I've reached my bead, I'm going to take my wire cutters. I'm going to cut that wire off as close to my coil as I possibly can. And then I'm gonna that's awesome, ASO. I mean, I didn't before, but I will now. Alright, and then I'm gonna take that little end and I'm just gonna tuck it down so that it's not sticking out. And that is one bead hanging off my chain. Now honestly, this really could be like if you're like, okay, I'm done, like this is all the energy I have tonight, this really could be a necklace. Like this is a really sweet way to make a really kind of subtle necklace. You could do a birthstone, you can do, you know, a couple of birthstones, but like literally this can be an entire necklace all by itself. But of course you all came here for more than that, so we're gonna add some more beads onto this. So I'm gonna open my Shadakite strand. And I'm gonna grab another head pin. And I'm gonna pop that Shadakite bead onto my head pin. So Shadakite is related to chrysocolla, related to turquoise, lapis, malachite. It's in that whole grouping of minerals, but it's a really pretty dark teal color with some brown matrix. And I'm going to attempt to do this. Why, thank you, Arun. I decided to go with the sparkly nails this time around. All right, and we are going to Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this basic wire wrap again. So I'm going to try and do this in a little bit more. Wait. I'm speaking in tongues.
Shadakite? That one?
Shadakite, yes.
She's trying not to cuss before 9.
I'm trying, I'm trying, but I'm not trying too hard not to cuss before 9. Plus, if I cuss on the sales stream, or on the tutorial stream, it's not a drink. So some people do save up their drinks for the sales stream. Alright, so I've got my round nose pliers, and I am holding them so they're touching the bead. We're going to go away. Then we loosen, rotate, grab right on that corner. Pull back up over the top. That starts to form, oh dear, sorry, it starts to form my circle. Then we're going to loosen, rotate, grab, and then we're going to go underneath, and that completes our lady with a scarf. Now, the main thing here is you need to remember to link the lady with a scarf onto the chain before you wrap it. So, I'm going to grab my necklace in process, and I'm going to figure out where is this link that I did first. Okay, so you're going to notice a couple of things when you work with a chain. First of all, the links are perpendicular to each other, all right? So you need to make sure that you're only using the links that are facing the same direction if you want your necklace to lay really nicely. Now, I'm not going to tell you how many beads you can or can't put on your necklace, but if you use all of the links of chain, you're going to have issues with your necklace. Is always going to be kind of twisty, turny, and weird. So it's usually a better plan to only use the links that are facing the same way. So that means, of course, every other link. You're going to need to decide how far apart do you want to put your beads. I'm going to try 2 links in between and go here. And then the last thing that is important is you want to always try and put your beads on the same side of the link. What I mean by that is if you're looking at this link right here, I could put my bead on this side, I could put my bead on the opposite side, that side there, okay? Easiest way that I have found to do this and make sure that you stay on the correct side is you're going to go into your link and make sure you're on the correct side, and then you're just going to fold your chain in half like so. And now it is literally impossible for me to put my bead on the wrong part of my link. I'm going to thread that up into my lady with the scarf's head. Sorry, lady. Like so. And then I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, hold it across my lady with the scarf. Like so. And I'm going to wrap, starting at the base of the bead. I'm just going to wrap down until I reach the bead. I'm sorry, I have to actually like look at what I'm doing. There we go. I'm like, I was doing well with watching the camera, but then it just all fell apart. Alright, trim as close as you can to that coil, and then take that pointy stabby bit and press down. And there we go. So now I've got 2 beads on there. So I'm going to do one more from beginning to end, and then I'm going to share with you guys how I work when I'm doing this. So I'm going to do the Shadakite on the other side of the apatite. So I've got one here. I'm going to do one on the other side. And this is another interesting thing of like beginner bead designers, and there's nothing wrong with a straight line repeating pattern, but most jewelry that is aesthetically pleasing is actually designed from the center outward. So if you're doing, say, an AB pattern, you know, what you've got is you've got, say, A in the center, and then you've got BB on either side, and then continuing up, AB, AB, AB. But if you just start at one end and go AB, 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 what you would have is I would have, say, a Shattuckite. Yeah, that logic sucks. There was a point there, and my brain just did not want to make it. It's more with an ABC pattern. There you go, when you throw in a third element. So you would do, sorry y'all, it's Wednesday, it's the beginning of my streaming week, and apparently my brain, I'm just gonna blame the fact that I'm hungry. So, but, okay, so if you have a more complicated pattern than ABC, okay? You start, say, A in the center, and then BB, CC, and then you're ABC, ABC. But if you're going from the end, ABC, ABC, then you have, you know, ABC, and it's not symmetrical in the center. That's where I was going with that. I really could have just not tried to be super smart about that, and I could have saved myself this last 5 minutes of embarrassing talking. So continuing on with basic wire wrapping. Round nose pliers. Touching your bead. We go away. Rotate. Back up over the top. Rotate. Underneath. Lady with a scarf. Sorry y'all, I don't know that blood blister is ever going to go away. Now we're going to go to the same distance but on the other side. So again, I'm going to find the correct set of links, skip 2, I'm going to go into this one here, fold my chain in half, all the way up into the loop. Oh my gosh, yes, 90% done. So Ace was, and then grab your chain nose and hold across your loop and wrap. So Ace was watching someone on stream making a necklace the other night, and they were 90% done and dropped an entire side. Oh, I've so been there. I've been there on this stream, actually. But
I'd rather do it on stream than in front of the person you're finishing it for, though.
Well, that's fair, but I've done that too. Or when you're tying their elastic bracelet and you explode it right in front of them, which is fine if it's all my beads, but if it's their beads, it's just like, oh crap. Now we have to get down on hands and knees and find every single bead. It's just the worst. Okay, so now I've got 3 beads on here. So you can absolutely 100% continue in this fashion and make yourself a beautiful necklace. But if you're looking for a way to do this a little bit more efficiently, this is how I do it. And I'm going to do, let's see, another 6 beads. So that's going to be 4 more apatites and 2 more Shattuckites. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off my beads from my strand. And I'm going to thread them all onto the head pins, all 6 of them. So again, this is me working assembly line fashion, which I find to be way more efficient than working, you know, from beginning to end. But if you're trying to learn, sometimes this is very confusing to your brain. So, you know, when you're learning, don't worry so much about efficiency. When you're learning, it's about getting the technique in your brain, getting the technique in your muscles. You can work on efficiency later. But if you're already to that point, and I know that a number of you Beading Dream Stream viewers are to that point, this is a way to make this process a little bit more quick and efficient. Okay, so I've got all my beads on all my head pins. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the stuff that I do with my round nose pliers, and then I'm going to stop and move to the next piece. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm not going to switch pliers at any point until I've reached the end of all 6 of these pieces. So what that means is I'm going to take my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab so they're touching one of my beads, and I'm going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. Lady with the scarf, set it aside. Next one, away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. Lady with the scarf, set it aside. Alright, I think everyone's probably figured out the pattern by now. Knees are dumb. I mean, they're like necessary and everything, but they're still dumb.
Agreed with all of that.
So I finally went to physical therapy to get an evaluation because I've been having back pain for a while. And unfortunately, the physical therapist, who was a darling and fantastic and hilarious and also cute, he was like, unfortunately, I don't have a magic solution for your back pain. You're just going to have to strengthen your core. I'm like, that was not what I wanted to hear. So then he sent me my exercise program, and I emailed him. I was like, did you notice that I'm chubby and out of shape when I visited your office? Because this program is a little bit, I'm assuming this is aspirational, because yeah, there's absolutely no freaking way. So I tried it this morning. I was able to do like 70% of it. It's just like, you really did notice all the jiggly bits, didn't you? Because this doesn't seem reasonable. No, but honestly, he was actually really fantastic after the fact that I had a not so great interaction with a male primary care doctor 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like, this was actually a really refreshing experience. He was fantastic. So if anybody in Dallas needs a good physical therapist, I can recommend one for you. Okay.
Who I can too.
That's true. Heather also can. But I know, the stupid core. Like, why does the marshmallow not support the things? I mean, come on. I feel like it should. Oh my gosh. Well, when the world stops being 200 degrees outside, like, seriously, I was walking from the church today and it was just like, I feel like I'm in a kiln. This is awful. So now that
I had a cloud of steam around my head.
You were definitely glowing when you got in here.
Oh, I was dripping when I got in here. Thank you.
All right, so now I'm going to take my ladies with scarves and I'm going to insert them all into my chain. So I'm just going to grab that and pop my chain into the loop, and then usually this juncture here is sturdy enough that it'll hold, so I can go on to my next one and not necessarily have to worry about that one falling off. So Appetite, Shattuckite, Appetite. Ugh. Only 175 degrees. I feel like it's probably still more than that, even at 7 a.m. Yes, I will commence with getting my core, back in shape as soon as it's November. No, that's not true, because all the exercises he gave me can be done inside, so I has zero excuses except for the fact that I am weak. When I got to the end of the program, I was like, 10 reps, 3 sets, no. Just no. Computer says no. And by computer, I mean my tummy muscles. Alright. Ah! What the? Yeah, I would be up for going partials on an Arboretum membership. How many people get to take advantage of that if you have one? Okay, so I'm just threading these babies into my chain. Though, they did, well, and August is over now, but they did actually drop admission for August to the to something stupid like $2.
Oh.
And I really should have taken advantage of that, and yet I did not. So once again, I'm just threading these babies into their appropriate lengths of chain. Okay, cool. And $99, I'm assuming, is annually. So that's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Okay, so again, just threading these guys in their appropriate lengths of chain. And it gets a little awkward at this point. Like, it's a little stabby, it's a little weird looking. Okay, just go with it. Because we're about to fix it all and make all the stabby bits go away. Also, can I just say one more time, knock on wood, how happy I am that all my cameras and microphones are working tonight after the utter and complete clusterfuck that was Saturday. And I literally, I unplugged everything and plugged it back in, and I plugged some things into the USB hub. And apparently that was the magical elixir of I don't even know what. Even things that didn't used to like being plugged into the USB hub are now super happy. Like,
are they super, super happy?
No, I think they're just super happy. I don't want to tempt fate by adding an extra super to that. Okay,
I'm just going to drink for it anyway.
Good plan. Alright, so now I'm just going to hold across my loop.
Later.
With my chain nose pliers. If you wind up holding your chain in your loop, that's fine. You may not. And I'm just going to start at the base of that loop, and I'm going to wrap down until I reach my bead, and then I'm going to go to my next one. Okay, so no, I'm not cutting off all my pointy stabbies yet, because once again, we're working assembly line fashion. So I'm going to go to my next one, and I'm going to wrap that. And I'm going to go to my next one. Across. And then I'm going to, of course, skip the ones that I've already done. So you can supervise. You can be the timekeeper. I'm just continuing to wrap all of these. I did have one fall off. That does happen on occasion. It's okay.
We're still real.
What?
We're still real.
We're still real. But who left? Did Amy run away?
No, I put something in the box up front.
Oh, got it.
I'm here.
Like, who's running away and why aren't they taking me?
I would always take
It's not fair. Of course, I don't think we made enough money today to run away anywhere, but, you know, we could hitchhike. But that's really hot. I think if we're going to hitchhike somewhere, we need to wait until, like, November. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wire cutters and I'm just going to snip all these off. And the closer you get to your coil, the easier it's going to be to tuck these little ends in. Okay, a 20-minute mile I think is within my... Well, crap. Asa, you jinxed me.
What happened?
I broke my chain.
No!
Yep. So this is a thing that can happen when you're using one of these tiny little baby chains. So what happened was when I was holding one of my ladies with a scarf to wrap it, I must have crunched my chain a little too much and I broke it. So I literally have now 2 parts of chain that are not connected in any way. So let's see really quickly if I can salvage this project. Alright, I'm going to start by just cutting all of my stupid ends off that I've been cutting off and tucking in. Again, I'm going to blame the fact that I'm just thinking about food. Because,
yeah,
food is amazing.
it is amazing, and it smells a
Why
lot.
are you not eating food?
I don't know.
Well, fix that.
Okay,
Because, I mean, one of us should be eating food.
that's fair. Okay.
Thank you, Aso, for the apology. You are forgiven.
She'll accept. This time.
I shall accept the apology. For jinxing my project. I know, the food thoughts aren't because of you, Lori. That's an interesting change. Oh, I love sweet. Oh my god, I saw the most annoying, when I was searching for pickle teeny recipes, there was a whole article that was bashing on sweet pickles, and I'm like, I don't like you. I am not using your pickle martini recipe. Because sweet pickles are awesome. Alright, so now all my ends are cut off. Tuck them in. So what do I have here? Unfortunately, it didn't break at the center, which is always a bummer. So that means, okay, so what I have here is I've got 2 uneven sections. So what I need to do is sacrifice some of this for links. So I need to sacrifice these 2 here, and I need to cut this off. There. Okay. So now I have 2 even pieces, and each of them has 2 appetites and 1 shadakite. So now I just need to wrap something in the middle to hold these guys together and to look pretty. So this is where I'm going to cast about my work area and see what I have that might be pretty with these. Oh, and I have a really pretty shadakite teardrop. That's going to be perfect. So if I'm going to wire out this teardrop, that's going to mean I'm going to need a little bit of straight wire rather than head pins. So I've got a little bit of gold wire just kind of hanging out here. And I have my shadakite teardrop. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm just going to put it through my teardrop like so. So now we've segued into top drilled wire wrapping. I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to bend it against the holes of my bead, and if the wire's a little short, you can use your pliers for that. So I'm going to bend it against the holes of my bead to make a triangle. Then I'm going to grab with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to bend the longer of my 2 wires straight up so it's centered over the central axis of the bead. What is going on with that hair? Goodness. Now I'm going to take my short wire, wrap it around the long wire, and you don't need to wrap it around too many times. 1.5 to 2 times is usually sufficient. You do kind of want those to be close together, so I'm just going to squish them down a little bit with my thumbnail, and we're going to trim, press down, and there we go. Now I'm going to do my basic wire wrap loop, the thing that we've spent most of this stream working on. That means I'm going to need my round nose pliers, and I'm going to hold them so that they are touching the top of the wrap that I just did. I'm going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. We see here, once again, Our Lady with a scarf. Now I'm going to take my 2 pieces of chain, and I'm going to thread the end links of each of those pieces of chain into or onto the scarf wire, and then I'm going to slide them both up into my lady's head like so. So now what I've done is I've used this loop to connect those 2 pieces of chain that I inadvertently separated. Inadvertently separated is a tactful way of saying broke. And then I'm just going to wrap my wire down until it reaches the end of the wire that's already there. Trim that off. And just press it down. And sometimes this becomes kind of an episode of chase the wire end, because you want to press it down and it just keeps rotating around. So don't give up, I promise. It's all about the angle. And sometimes you just can't do it under your webcam. Say lovey. But there is my repaired Back to Basics wire wrap necklace. We're going to ignore the fact that that one looks a little bit wonky, and we're going to just be happy that I managed to put this project back together. So that's our project for this Wednesday evening. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the Beating Dreams stream, helping me kick off our streaming. Thanks, Pam. Helping me kick off our streaming week with the Back to Basics wire wrapped necklace project. Now, of course, you know that it's Wednesday evening. That means it is live sale evening. Regardless of what I did or did not post on social media, we'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, in just about half an hour with a live merchandise sale that is going to be tiny shinies, leather tassels, and some rando strandos if we have time. If you're not going to join us for the sale, you know we'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, tomorrow, Thursday at noon, with this project. This is going to be our back and forth bracelet with a two-ended component. That's going to be a fun one for lunchtime stream tomorrow. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the Beating Dreams stream this Wednesday evening for the tutorial. I'm Allison from Beating Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We're an actual brick and mortar retail bead store, and as always, we truly appreciate your support. So everyone, if you're going to join us for the sale, don't forget to go pour yourself a cocktail, get yourself a snack, get comfy, get cozy, and get ready for some bead retail therapy in the comfort of your living room, office, or wherever you're watching the Beating Dreams stream. If you're not going to join us for the sale, catch us on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdreams sometime soon.